Joining me in the second hour, as I promised you in the first hour, is Eagles and Zimbabwe cricket player Brad Evans. Brad, good morning and thank you for making time. I know you've got a game to dash off to soon, but thank you for making time and sitting down with us on Morning Rush. We haven't seen you in action, I think, almost half a year. Maybe just give us an update of what's been happening, and I know you were injured, and how that recovery process has been going.
Morning, Tich. Thanks for having me. I struggled with shin splints, and I played through them for about 9 months. It sort of was a long road to recovery. We sort of eventually sat down, had a scan, and said, it's a grade 3 stress fracture in my shin. It took the better part of 7 months to get back, but finally back. Not quite bowling yet, just playing for the Eagles as a batter. Well, I haven't played a game yet, but I'm in the squad.
All right, and maybe just for the novice, maybe explain to us what a shin splint is, and maybe how it's the kind of damage that you would have gone through and the recovery process.
So it's just through repetitive action like bowling. It's where muscles pull on bones and tendons and all that, and then eventually just chips away at the bone and micro fractures occur, and then the more you play, the bigger those fractures become. So it's just a bone fracture at the end of the day. Yeah.
So it's only a natural healing process.
Yeah.
All right, and you mentioned that obviously you're back in the Eagle squad primarily as a batter, but most followers of the game know you primarily as a bowler. And I know we've had conversations with you before where you've suggested that you want to try and earn a place in the Chevrons as an all-rounder. Do you think you've got what it takes with the bat to be able to follow that through?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people believe in me, and I just need to start believing in myself a lot more. When it comes to the bat, throughout my young career, I managed to score runs in hundreds, and I've even got a 100 in professional cricket in Zimbabwe. So there's no reason why I can't do it. It's a mental sort of thing that's a barrier in the way for me. Has been in the past, but I feel like in this time off, I've been able to work on my batting, and I think I've overcome that, and I'm excited about getting the opportunity to go and show people what I can do.
All right, I know you've been part of the Chevrons squad over the last couple of years, and there've been a lot of highs and a lot of lows. I think just making it to the T20 World Cup in Australia, I think, was a good experience. Missing out on the upcoming T20 and the ODI World Cup. As a player, was obviously still working his way and cementing your place in that team. What has that been like for you? Going through those highs and then experiencing those lows as an individual and as part of a bigger unit.
Yeah, I think as an individual, what we miss out on is quite a big financial loss not going to these tournaments. It's quite big financially for individual players. But at the end of the day, you want to be there representing your country and flying the Zim flag as high as you can when you get those opportunities to play in these sort of high broadcasted sporting events. So as an individual, gutting. But then as a team, I think we were on a high for a good 18 months. We were beating lots of teams and travelling around the world and playing really, really good cricket. And then so it happens in sport. You lose 1 or 2 games, you lose a bit of confidence, and then it doesn't look so good from the outside. So I would just hope people stick with us and know that we're trying our best, and I'm sure we'll come right at some stage.
So as a group, is that belief still there despite those lows that you guys have experienced collectively?
I think so. It's hard to say. It's sport, so you're going to go through highs and lows, and you're going to lose confidence, gain confidence. But I just think the next coach that comes in, I'm not sure who it's going to be. Obviously, Walter Chavagutu is the interim coach at the moment. Our next tour is only scheduled in May, I think, early May. So we've got a bit of time to reset, and hopefully, we can sign a good coach that can sort of bring us out of this sort of rut that we're in. Instill some confidence in us, and then take us back to where we were.
Speaking of the highs and the exposure that we were talking about, playing those big international games, I think you were part of that historic squad that went to Australia and won in Australia, and I think that probably could rank as probably the high of that 18-month period. Maybe just take us back through that and what that meant to you guys and for your confidence, because you played a key role in that game as well, for your confidence to be able to perform at that level.
Yeah, it was a weird game. It was a weird series. The wicket was so weird. Like, we were playing in a ground that Australia had hardly played at, and the wicket was just doing all sorts. And unluckily, we lost the first two tosses, so they bowled, and we had to bat on a very tricky wicket. And then the first game, I think they chased down our small total quite quickly. And the second game, we managed to get 5 wickets, I think we did. And it just showed that if we'd got the chance to bowl first, we might have actually won the series. So it was a bit unfortunate from that regard. But yeah, to win a game against Australia, it's quite a thing to say, I think.
All right. Yeah. And looking at that period, especially because I like to talk about the positives, I'm a very positive person. One of the big things as well was the fan culture that we saw develop with the Castle Corner and just fans coming out. I remember even when India came through to tour here, it was very, very massive, and then we had even people who sometimes don't even understand the game just thronging Harare Sports Club and backing you guys. As a player and somebody who's coming up, what was that like for you, just seeing so much support from Zimbabweans?
No, it's really cool. I mean, you probably look back 2 years ago, you probably wouldn't have had the crowds that we had in the last 18 months. And then, when you're on the field and you're about to beat West Indies and there's like 12,000 people in the ground cheering and you can't even hear yourself think, you kind of take a moment to look around and just go, geez, we've been able to do this. So I think there's an amount of pride that comes with being able to get so many people to the ground that have started loving cricket again. So long may it continue.
All right, and obviously one of the big tours that we have this year, India coming through for a 5-match series. I think it's around June, mid-year, around then. Yeah. That's massive. 5 T20 internationals.
No, I mean, yeah. Whenever you get the chance to play India, that's sort of the pinnacle of sport, I think, because the people there are so passionate about the game, and any little thing that you manage to do well gets sent around the world and goes viral very, very quickly, just because there's so many followers of the game. So I've always said, if you want to have a good day, you want to have a good against India.
Right. You come from a family that's got a cricketing history. Your father played the game. How much of an influence has that been in your career, especially during this difficult time where you've been trying to sort of, recover from this splinchings and, work on your batting and come back as an all-rounder for the national team?
Yeah, I go to my dad for advice quite a lot. He understands me, he understands my game. And yeah, whenever I'm struggling, he's the person I turn to in terms of advice for on the field, cricket advice, and he's normally quite sound with it. Yeah.
Right. Obviously, we do have the domestic T20 taking part. It's exciting this year. We've got some night games happening. We've got visiting county side, Durham, coming through. Obviously, you're still to play a part. But from an Eagles perspective, you guys are the current holders. But you've got a visitor who's looking to take the trophy away. How are you guys looking at that in the context of that tournament?
Yeah, I mean, for the guys that people would have watched last night, they were quite dominant, which was a shame because I thought we really, really had the opportunity to restrict them to about 130, 140. And then it would have been a very, very different game. But in the end, they ended up getting away, and the total was just sort of probably out of our reach. But yeah, an exciting concept. We've got the lights now. First time we're playing the domestic stuff under lights. Hopefully it brings in some crowd members to come and watch some good cricket. But yeah, exciting for me to just be on a cricket field again.
All right. Speaking about being on a cricket field again, you've already spoken about working on the batting, but I think, I'll speak for many fans of we need to see you back with the ball. What's the timeline looking like in terms of you maybe competitively bowling again?
Yeah, so about 3 weeks ago I got cleared in terms of the injury, all healed, and then myself and Steve Kirby, the bowling coach, sat down and we devised an 8-week return to bowl plan. We just thought the T20 competition, this domestic T20 competition, was too soon to rush back. and try to get fit for. If I played it, I might have re-injured or I might have injured something else in my body because I'd just been out for far too long. You can't go from 0 to 100 immediately. So we just thought, let's extend that return to bowl phase, because the next thing only after is the Bangladesh T20s in May. So we thought, let's try and target that. So we extended the return to bowl phase, and hopefully within the next three to 4 weeks I'll be bowling.
So maybe first week of April you could be back competing again. That'll give you enough time to get ready and get to action in both the nets and the bedrock. I'm really keen to see how you fare on as an all-rounder. I think that's something especially that we need towards our tail end as well, to have somebody, when the ship is rocking a little bit, to come back and what, we can get maybe 30 or 40 odd runs at the back end. We've seen the bigger teams in the world have players who can do that. So hopefully you can continue developing towards that. And thank you very much for joining us this morning, and all the best with the rest of your recovery, and all the best for the Eagles in the domestic T20 Cup.
Konapo, ipapo pa ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294.